Have you ever trusted your family, only to realize they saw your child as a joke? What would you do if your own brother shaved off your son's eyebrows and your parents laughed about it? Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and tell us in the comments, where are you watching from, and how would you have handled this kind of betrayal? My name is Divine, and I'm from Atlanta. What happened in my own living room changed how I saw my family forever. And believe me, this wasn't just some harmless prank. It started on a lazy Saturday morning. I was in the kitchen with pancakes on the griddle, and my 6-year-old son Lucas was at the dining table, coloring his superhero book with intense focus. His little tongue poked out whenever he was really into it. I smiled to myself, pouring syrup over a fresh stack. Then the front door swung open. "Where's my nephew, the little squirrel?" My brother shouted like he owned the place. I didn't even hear him knock. "Lucas," he called louder, already tossing his shoes off as he stepped in. I froze. That was Josh, my younger brother, the family clown, the one who never grew up and somehow still got praised for it. My parents thought he was hilarious, fun, free-spirited. They called him the light of every room. Me, I was too serious, too protective, and no fun at all. Lucas, of course, jumped up. "Uncle Josh," he beamed. Josh lifted him up like a sack of potatoes, laughing loud and hard. "Look at this big guy. Eyebrows thick like caterpillars. You trying to start your own eyebrow salon, champ?" I gave a weak smile. "Josh, he's sensitive about them. He gets teased at school." Josh waved it off. "Relax, sis. He's gotta learn to laugh at himself. Life's short." Before I could reply, my mom and dad walked in behind him, holding bags of groceries and cheerful voices. "Divine, you should have seen Josh at the gas station. He told the cashier she looked like Nicki Minaj with a beard." I nearly peed my pants. My dad said, already giggling. I blinked. They always thought Josh was funny. Even when he made jokes at other people's expense. Even when it wasn't funny at all. "Mind if I steal Lucas for a bit?" Josh grinned. "Boys time. We'll prank call some telemarketers and mess with his hairstyle a little." I frowned. "Just, don't cut anything. Don't touch his hair, or eyebrows, please." "Geez, you think I'm a psycho?" he said, hands up. "He's my nephew. Chill." Lucas looked at me with excited eyes. "Please, Mom." I nodded slowly, but my stomach twisted. 30 minutes passed. We were all sitting in the living room, my mom scrolling through old photos of Josh from college, my dad laughing so hard at one of his old prank videos that he had to wipe his eyes. I wasn't laughing. I couldn't stop thinking about what Josh was doing upstairs. Then Lucas came back down. His little feet shuffled. His eyes were shiny with tears. His head was down. "Mom," he whispered, voice shaky. I turned, and the blood in my veins froze. His eyebrows, gone, completely shaved off. Just raw, pink skin and 2 awkward patches above his eyes. He looked like a completely different child. Embarrassed, confused. "I don't like it," he said quietly. Behind him, Josh burst into laughter. "Come on, tell her the joke." I told him he was now Lucas the lookless. "Get it? Eyebrows. Look, no look." My parents burst out laughing. Actual tears streamed down my mom's face. "He looks like a little egg," she shrieked. "Josh, you are terrible." I stood up slowly. "You did this." Josh smirked. "It's hair. It grows back. What's the big deal?" Lucas ran behind me and hugged my waist, hiding his face in my stomach. My hands were shaking. "Get out." Josh blinked. "What?" I said, "Get out. All of you. Get out of my house." "But Divine," my mom started. I pointed at the door. "You think it's funny to humiliate my son. You encouraged it. You laughed, you didn't protect him. So no, you don't get to stay here." They left. All of them. Grumbling, confused, still muttering that I was being dramatic. But that was just the beginning. Final say over any public partnerships, promotions, or staff reputation reviews tied to the brand. At the time, it felt unnecessary, just paperwork. But now it was exactly what I needed. I typed up a formal notice, attaching photos of Lucas's face from earlier, his freshly shaved, browless forehead, his red puffy eyes, and the shaky smile he gave me when I told him he was still my superhero. The caption under the photo read, "This is my 6-year-old son. Yesterday, his uncle, my brother Josh, shaved off his eyebrows as a joke." My parents laughed. They called it funny, but my son went to bed crying, ashamed to look in the mirror. I'm sharing this not for sympathy, but because I will not stay silent. Josh works closely with children and families as a freelance event host and online, fun uncle, content creator. If this is what he calls love and humor, I want people to see the truth. My child is not your punchline. I sent the post to Marcia first, along with a note, "I need this to go out on your official platforms. You said I had the power to use this when necessary. I'm using it now." Her reply came within 10 minutes. "Marcia, oh my God. Divine, I had no idea. Absolutely. I'll issue the release first thing in the morning. This is disgusting. I've worked with Josh before, never again." By noon the next day, the post was live across the salon's Instagram and Facebook accounts with thousands of followers. It got reshared by a few parenting pages within an hour. The comments section exploded. "This is horrifying. Who does that to a child? Is this the same Josh who hosts kids' birthday parties? Parents who laugh at this are part of the problem. So sorry to your son. Name and shame. No more excuses for family pranks." I didn't tag Josh directly. I didn't even mention our last name. But people figured it out quickly, especially those who'd followed his goofy social media stunts for years. His funny uncle image was cracking. At 3 p.m., my phone rang. Josh. I let it ring. He called again, and again. Then my mom called. "Divine, take that post down right now. This has gone far enough." I answered that one. "Far enough. He humiliated Lucas. And you laughed. It was just a joke. He didn't mean harm. He shaved off a child's eyebrows. He's not in harm. He is harm. And you all stood there, laughing while my son cried. You're blowing this way out of." I hung up. Later that night, Lucas crawled into bed beside me. His eyebrows hadn't grown back, of course, but the puffiness in his eyes had faded. He looked up at me and whispered, "Mom, are you mad at Uncle Josh?" I kissed his forehead. "No, baby, I'm not mad. I'm just done pretending it's okay." He blinked slowly. "Did I do something wrong?" My throat tightened. I held him tighter. "No, you did nothing wrong. You were just too kind to someone who wasn't kind back." He nodded, eyes drooping as he drifted off to sleep. Slowly returned. He no longer looked in the mirror with shame. He wore his new face with pride. He danced again in the hallway. He sang louder in the car. He laughed with her whole chest. And Lucas, he stopped hiding under his hoodie at school. It took time, and gentle mornings, and extra hugs. But every day, my son looked a little more like himself again. The post about Josh's so-called prank was still quietly circulating in parenting groups and local mom circles. A few platforms even reached out to do a short feature on the Curls Encourage campaign. I declined any interview that asked for names. This was never about revenge. It was about protecting my child. But that didn't mean Josh was off the hook. 3 months later, I was standing in line at the grocery store when someone tapped me on the shoulder. "Hey, are you Divine, Lucas's mom?" I turned, a little guarded. The woman smiled kindly. "My daughter had cancer last year. Lost all her hair. She just got her first real haircut in forever, thanks to your salon's event." "Thank you." I blinked. I hadn't expected that. "Lucas is lucky to have a mom like you," she added, before walking off. My throat tightened. I stood there, one hand on my grocery cart, thinking back to that awful day. Josh really thought shaving Lucas's eyebrows was funny. My parents thought my reaction was the problem. But this woman's gratitude was proof. I had made the right choice. Josh's career quietly imploded. No one publicly canceled him, but the bookings stopped. A few schools and party agencies dropped him quietly. Word had gotten around that he made fun of kids, even his own nephew. That was enough. And when he tried to pivot online, tried to relaunch his goofy, Uncle Jay's Crazy Corner videos, no one engaged. The comments were ice cold. Is this the guy who shaved his nephew's eyebrows? Kids aren't props, Josh. This isn't funny anymore. He went from hundreds of views to barely a dozen. Even his loyal followers didn't know what to say. I hadn't spoken to him in months. He'd tried texting once. You ruined my life over a joke. I didn't reply. Maisie and Lucas were now regular faces at the salon events. Lucas even got to help host one. He handed out cupcakes in a tiny bow tie and got a round of applause just for being brave. At the end of the event, he whispered, "Mom, I wanna do more stuff like this." "You will," I promised. "You're already doing it." Small folded note and a single photo. The note read, "I didn't understand before. I see it now. I hope one day you'll let us make things right." And the photo. It was of me as a child, maybe 8 or 9 years old, sitting on the porch, my arms wrapped around a much younger Josh. I was smiling. He was too. That was back when things felt simple. Before favoritism, before betrayal, before the cruelty disguised as jokes. I held that photo in my hand for a long time. Not because I missed them, but because I realized something. I had always protected them, shielded my parents from consequences, cleaned up Josh's messes, swallowed the pain they caused just to keep the peace. But that peace had always come at a price, my children. Not anymore. I folded the note and placed it in a drawer, not to respond, not to reopen anything, but to remind myself where we'd come from, and why we weren't going back. A few weeks later, we held the second Ribbon Project Healing Retreat. This time it wasn't just kids. Mothers came, teachers came, even grandmothers came. Women who had carried generations of shame and silence walked through those doors, arms locked with their daughters, their nieces, their grandkids. And there, in that space filled with soft music, mirrors framed with affirmations, and hairstylists kneeling to meet young girls at eye level, Lucas stood tall beside me, handing out affirmation cards he'd helped design. One read, "My eyebrow does not make me valuable, but I am still so valuable." He beamed when a little girl took one and hugged him. "Thanks," she whispered. "I didn't want to come, but I'm glad I did." I knelt down beside him, brushed his curls back gently, and said, "See what happens when you speak the truth." He nodded. "Mom, maybe we should make t-shirts with that one." I smiled. "Already ahead of you, Josh." He'd gone quiet. Online, his followers had dwindled down to a fraction. His old podcast appearances were pulled from rotation after the backlash. Last I heard, he was trying to rebrand himself as a mindfulness coach for men. But I didn't care. He was no longer my concern. My focus was here. On Lucas. On Maisie. On the world we were building. One where children were allowed to heal, to grow, and to know their worth. That night, after the last chair had been folded and the last thank you hug exchanged, I sat alone in the quiet hall. The lights were dimmed, the banners still fluttering gently behind me, the Ribbon Project, healing out loud. Maisie had fallen asleep in the car, her silver dress tucked beneath her coat, her curls messy from all the excitement. Lucas had stayed awake the whole ride, holding the donation envelope like it was treasure. In many ways, it was. I looked at the empty stage where I had told my truth, our truth. For the first time, I said my brother's name. I said my parents' names. And I said exactly what they had done. Not to destroy them, but to free us. When I was done speaking, the room had gone silent. Then one person clapped. Then two. Then everyone. It wasn't just applause. It was recognition. That my silence wasn't strength. My speaking up was. That woman who whispered, "Thank you," into my shoulder. She wasn't alone. After the event, I got over 100 messages. Women, fathers, teachers, even teenagers. Messages that said, "Your story gave me the courage to tell mine." And that was everything. 2 months later, Maisie brought home a drawing from school. It was a tree, tall, with bright pink flowers and thick, sturdy roots. At the bottom, she had written, "My family is me, Mommy, and Lucas. And we are strong." She didn't mention my parents. She didn't mention Josh. And I didn't ask her to. Because she knew what I now knew. Family is not just who you're born to. Family is who protects you. Who sees you. Who helps you grow, even after you've been cut down. Josh and my parents still tried, here and there. A forwarded article, a message from a cousin, a letter that just wanted to check on the kids. I never responded, not because I'm bitter, but because I'm done teaching people how to love us. We've already planted new roots. And we're thriving. If this story moved you, inspired you, or reminded you of your own silent battles, please subscribe to our channel. Share this video with someone who needs to know they are not alone. And tell us in the comments, where are you watching from, and what does healing look like for you? Let's keep blooming together.